Okay, this video is to give you some information about the Explore Modularity assignment. So what we're going to do is we're going to explore a modular system and how it can build different letter forms. As you get into typeface design, things are based on a system. Creating a modular system or a system of rules can be very helpful in design, and we're going to apply that to building letter forms. And so if you look at the instructions that are on Canvas, it asks you to build a document, and if you notice, this document is in picas for the unit of measurement. So we need to make sure that when we build it with the correct unit of measurement. So I'm going to create a new document, and this new document, it can be a print document, and we're going to change the units of measurement to picas, and it's going to be 48 picas by 48 picas. And just in case you weren't aware, 48 picas is equal to 8 inches, and so that's what we've been making. Most of our documents are 8 inches by 8 inches. But I'm going to have you make it in picas, and then we're going to create our elements to create our letter forms with these 3 different elements, and those are going to be measured in picas. So 48 picas by 48 picas. I'm going to hit create. It's going to create a square document. Then we're going to create these 3 different shapes here. So we're going to create a square, a rectangle, and a quarter circle. So the first thing I'm going to do is just get my rectangle tool and click once. And I'm going to make it 1p, and that's a pica, by 1p, and hit OK. And I want to make sure that it has black fill and no stroke. Okay, you want to make sure that it looks like that. And it's going to be small compared to our layout because we're going to build a whole bunch of different letter forms. So next what we're going to do is we're going to create a rectangle. And this is going to be 1 unit by 2 units. So 1 pica is our unit by 2 picas. And that creates a rectangle. Now the next thing we want is this quarter circle shape. And 1 pica is equal to the radius. Now there's lots of different methods that you can use to be able to get a quarter of a circle. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a circle first. And I'm going to make it 2 picas by 2 picas. And let's see, is that the size that I want it to be? Yep, so it looks a little bit small right here because this is one pica should be that same width. So this is a little bit small on my instructions. So this is the correct one. So it should be 2 picas because that's the diameter, and we want the radius to be 1 pica. Now, we could go and we could try and cut this up or cover parts, but the easiest way is to create a line segment here, and I'm going to make sure it's straight by holding Shift. So I created a line, and I'm going to give it a black stroke just so I can see it. And then I want to make sure that it's centered right on this circle, so I'm going to go up here to my alignment tools and center it. And then I'm going to take this same line, I'm copying it by holding Shift and Option, and then I'm going to rotate it so that it's a horizontal line, and I'm going to take this same tool, and if you notice I've got all of it selected, and I'm going to make sure everything's aligned to that center point. Then what we're going to do is we're going to use our Shape Builder tool. So we have to have everything selected, and the Shape Builder tool is right here on our layout, or on our toolbar. So I'm going to select that, and if I click, it creates that one segment. So if I click on each of those and drag, it creates our 4 segments, and then if I just click across each of these, and I actually can just delete those now. You can see I've got these different segments, and it's removed the fill, but they are still there, so I can select those and I can fill those with black. And now you can move them independent of each other. Okay, so now I've got my quarter circle that I can use. So I'm going to save this document and we'll call it Modular Explore. And now what you're going to do is you're going to take these different elements and you're going to begin to build different letter forms. You're going to build all 26 letter forms from the alphabet. And what you can do is you can take these and you can copy them and you can rotate them. You can have more than one shape and experiment to see if you can create a system of letter forms. You can see there's some examples here in Canvas of some different letter forms. And they can be closed in, so, or you could have gaps like this one here. And so we could do something as simple as this becomes a letter I. Perhaps you have a letter I that has two of these shapes. And then you take this shape here and maybe you duplicate it over and then you duplicate it down, so that becomes the letter I. So what you're going to do is you're going to go through and you're going to figure out what system and make sure they're in relationship to each other is going to be able to build all of the letters of the alphabet. The one thing that you don't do is make any of these shapes larger in relationship to each other. So this shape should always be that same proportion. So let's say I'm going to make a, maybe it's a T. And then I can use, that shape's probably not the right shape. So we're going to use this one. And then we've got a letter T here, but then if I look at it in relationship to this I, the T is really thin, so maybe I do this and maybe that's what my I looks like. And then perhaps we use this shape instead, so we can make that dot, or the tittle is what it's called, over the I, a little bit lower. So now I've got two of my letter forms, and you want to make sure that they again match each other in relationship, and you can use multiple shapes. So let's say I wanted my T to have ends that are the same, so I can use more than one of these quarter circles to create my T. You can do a combination. They can be upper and lowercase, or all uppercase or all lowercase. This actually becomes kind of an interesting thing here. Perhaps we want to make an H. So I can rotate this and then rotate the entire thing to become an H. And then if I look at that, that's probably not quite tall enough to match this here, so maybe I want to move these up and move this modular shape here. And the crossbar of the H is a little bit lower, or maybe if I want the crossbar of the H to be on the upper end, I can just rotate this whole shape. So now I've got, and I actually kind of like this T a little bit better here. So now I've got three of my letters. And if it's helpful, you could take just whatever typeface it is and type out the different letter forms so you can see. Let's see. So that you can see what they're going to be, and make sure that you're saving regularly. You can use this pasteboard for your different shapes, so maybe put things out to the edge, those different elements, but just remember that you're going to be using these three shapes to build all of your letter forms. Now the ones that are going to get a little bit complicated are probably going to be the S, because of the spine, the serpentine shape of the spine. X's become a little bit more complicated. but if you look at, there's several different examples, and there could be literally thousands of different combinations for you to be able to create your own system using these modular shapes. You're going to have a little bit more time to be able to work on it this week. Please let me know if you have any questions, but hopefully this is a good start for you to understand what this assignment's about. Good luck!